Hello everyone and welcome to Utah Climate Notes. I'm Dr. Robert Davies with the Utah Climate Center. Utah Climate Notes is a series of short video tutorials on the subject of climate change produced by the Utah Climate Center in collaboration with Utah Cooperative Extension. In this series, we hope to provide a solid primer on the science of climate change in bite-sized pieces. Think of them as science snacks, overviewing the many aspects of Earth's changing climate, from how to measure Earth's temperature to the different tugs on the planetary climate system, to the impacts of these changes on both natural and human systems. Before we get started on the science, however, a few words about the nature of our topic are in order. Now, if you find yourself confused about climate change, you have every right to be. The sheer volume of confusing and conflicting information from the media, social media, public figures is staggering. One newspaper tells us climate change is a crisis, another a scam. One network tells us it's natural, another that it's man-made. One politician tells us we're in danger, another tells us it'll be good for us. And so who to believe? Well, it turns out there are objective truths in this topic, but it can feel like one needs a PhD in physics to sift through the stuff. A large part of the challenge is that there are two aspects to this topic of climate change. There is the science of climate change, but there is also the public issue of climate change. Now, the science is about questions that can be answered through observations, measurements, quantitative analysis. In short, it's about what we know. The public issue of climate change, however, is about questions of what to do with this knowledge. In short, it's about how to respond. In this series, we'll focus on what science has to say, what it is we know about Earth's climate system, about how it is changing, and about our options for response. And certainly, there are many unanswered questions about Earth's incredibly complex climate system. But societally, we're interested in the answers that science can provide on three questions. Is Earth's climate changing? If so, why? And what are the consequences? Should we care? And these questions have definite answers. Yes, Earth's climate is changing, and this change is being driven by a warming of the Earth system, its land, atmosphere, and oceans. Humans are driving this change, principally through the addition of greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. And the risks to humans, human civilization, and the human ecosystem are very high. These basic answers arise from an enormous collection of evidence stemming from many independent lines. Within an extraordinarily large, sincere, and competent scientific community, these answers are considered baseline scientific knowledge. And we should add that the scientific consensus on these basic answers is extreme. And we'll look more closely at this question of consensus in a later episode. For now, I'll simply state that every relevant scientific organization in the world has issued explicit statements concurring with these points. Earth's climate is changing, humans are driving this change, and the risks to humans are very large. And so we shall spend the remainder of this series digging deeper into these three questions, overviewing in some detail the science from which their answers have emerged. And we'll begin in our next episode by simply defining the notions of climate and climate change. Welcome to Utah Climate Notes, presented by the Utah Climate Center in cooperation with Utah Extension. We hope you find this series useful. Here we go.